Hey guys, it's Rebecca Verstadt. In today's video, well, at least this part of it, I'm going to be swatching all of my bronzer and contour shades that I have in my collection, and then I will get into a discussion about each one as well as a declutter inventory of sorts. So this is every product that I own that is a bronzer or a contour. The Makeup Revolution Powder Contour is kind of a newer product to me. I haven't really used it a whole lot, and I will also talk about where they came from and things like that. And I do have some singles as well. Now I do have a swatch video of this. It just went up. No, I recorded it recently, but I don't think it's gone up on my channel yet. So the reason why I want to swatch these is to show you what they look like on my skin first, and then we'll get into the other stuff. We'll start off with this one. This came from an Ipsy. I love the fact that it actually has a mirror on it. This is the Pacifica Bronze Rose. It says Rose and Coconut Infused Blush and Bronzer. The bronzer shade is called Desert. Now, they do have the Wild Rose Blush that you can buy separately. I'm not quite sure if they have the bronzer, but I'm going to go ahead and swatch it. I will be doing double swatches on them as well, and I'm going to try and blend these out a little bit with my finger, because of course, you're not just going to, swipe these on your arm. You're going to be using a brush, and this isn't a double swatch. It's more like, if you look, there's a weird lighter spot in it. Let me run my finger on it. Maybe I have too much oil on my hands. But there's the Pacifica one, and I just realized my makeup removing cloth is way across the counter. Next, we have the Nomad Cosmetics. This is in Kiss of Sun Bronze and Contour Powder. This is in Manly Beach. This also came from an Ipsy. I have only a few Nomad products, but the ones that I do have, I really like them, and this is super soft. This feels like satin on the skin. And again, I'm working it into the skin. I want you to be able to see the undertones of these products. That's why I am, blending them out the way that I am. Next one, we have Lovecraft Beauty. I'll leave all these linked down below. This one also came from an Ipsy. This one I thought was going to be way too dark for me, but it is still a little dark for me because I'm pale. But it's not as dark as it looks in the pan when you swatch it out. So there's the first three. Get these closed, and let me get my makeup removing cloth so I can get swatches off my fingers. Alright, now we have the Essence. This is actually a bronzing powder in the shade 01 Natural. This is one of their matte bronzers, and this is super, super soft. This was a recommendation from somebody, and I think it's a little bit on the satin side. I'm going to pick up just a little bit more. It's a very strange consistency, and it's actually a very, very light shade for bronzer. And I was surprised at it. I thought it would be, because it looks kind of peach in the pan, but it doesn't seem to pull as peach on my skin. Then we have the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze. This is in the shade 01 Light. This is probably my favorite one of all, and it is a luminous bronzer. I probably should have done smaller swatches, but that's okay. This is my favorite out of all of them. This one I bought because of Shelly from Geek Out of Water. It's all her fault. But it is my favorite. It blends like an absolute dream. It is more luminous than the other ones. The other ones are all matte bronzers, but if you look, the other ones look kind of orange compared to it. I will also be doing video outside so you guys can see what these swatches look like outside on my arm. I'll probably end up having to swatch the other ones on, crap. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off half my arm with this really quick so I have some more real estate. This is what happens when you have scrawny arms. I'll have to do smaller swatches, just because I want to try and get all of them on my arm together so you guys can see all of the different colors together. That's the whole point of me swatching these out, is so that you guys can see all of the different colors swatched next to each other, so you can see which ones are more neutral, which ones are more warm tone, that kind of thing. All right, going into this, I'll go ahead and pull these out of here. Some of these are ones that I bought. A lot of these are ones that I got as like Ipsy things. So here we have the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer. Somebody said I need the light bronzer because this one's too dark for me. This is also a luminous product. It has a sheen to it and a glow. So there's that one. Then we have the Hoola Bronzer. This is the from Benefit Cosmetics. This is the Hoola Matte Bronzer, and I don't even need a double swatch of that, but you see what one swatch does? It's a very pigmented bronzer. A little goes a long way with this one, and it is too dark for me. And I've noticed lately that it seems to pull more orange. Then we have, this one's from Tarte. This is the Park Avenue Princess. I thought this one was a good shade match for me until I got looking at it on my skin, like swatched out, and I think it's a little too dark. It's also a luminous bronzer. Oh, the Physicians Formula and the Hoola I bought. The the Park Avenue Princess came from an Ipsy. Then we have these little guys. I got one, and there was another product that exploded on the outside of the package. So then Ipsy sent me one as a replacement. This is the Balm's Bahama Mama, and it's the same shade. I just happen to have two of them because, you know, they come in these cute little itty bitty cardboard. I'm gonna have to do 3 swatches just to make sure I pick up enough product. This is actually a pretty neutral based bronzer, and when I go outside you'll be able to see what some of the undertones are on these a little bit better. Then we have the Elizabeth Mott. This is her bronzer. I only have a couple of products from the Elizabeth Mott brand, and I actually went on her website. You can sign up as an affiliate on her website, and anybody can sign up and you earn like points and stuff. I've never bought anything from her website, but she has a mascara I hear that's really good. She also has a highlighter in something Beach. Beach is in the name of it, but it's a very pretty highlighter. It's also the same shade as this pan, so I kind of like forget about these. That's why I depotted it, so I maybe wouldn't forget about them as much. This is the Mannequin D'Ar. This was a bronzer highlighter duo that I got, and this is also a luminous product. It looks like a straight up bronze highlighter. I think for a darker skin tone, this would absolutely be a stunning highlight for somebody with, you know, not paper skin. And it's a little bit too warm for me, but if you are of a darker skin tone than me and you like a warm luminous bronzer, I think that that would be beautiful. And then last we have the Makeup Revolution one. The bottom 3 shades of that are like bronzer contour kind of shades. The top powders are all too dark for me, but this is their Pro HD Powder Contour. This is in like the lightest one that they sell. So I'll go ahead and just pick up product on all 3 fingers at once, so it'll be easier. And the last one is very cool toned. So the very first shade is like a neutral to cool tone bronzer. I'm gonna have to pick up double and triple swatches. The middle shade is a little bit more warm toned, and then you have this beast, this last one that's like very gray. This one's pretty neutral. This one here definitely pulls more warm, and then this one is definitely a cool toned shade. I'm not quite sure if you would consider these contours or if you would consider them bronzers, but to me it's like 6 and 1/2 dozen. It's like, what's the difference between a white egg and a brown egg? Nothing, they're both eggs. You know, the only difference is the color of the shell or what kind of chicken it came from. Same thing to me. So here are all of my bronzer products swatched out. I'm debating on whether or not to get rid of like the Hoola bronzer. I did depot it. This one here is definitely too dark for me to use as a bronzer, but as an eyeshadow, I think I could get away with using the Mannequin D'Ar one for that purpose. I love the Lumi Bronze. I need to use the Essence one more. It is a little bit too warm for me, but it's okay. The Pacifica one is also one that I like. The Lovecraft Beauty, I'm still deciding on whether or not I want to keep it because it does pull a little bit warm. And I actually like the Nomad Cosmetics one. It seemed pretty complimentary on my skin. It's super soft. It blends really easily onto the skin, and I don't have any issues with it. And I like products that I don't have issues with. And if I was to pick up the Hoola, I would probably pick up Hoola Light, but I was also told that Hoola Light is a warm undertone, whereas, you know, regular Hoola is supposed to be more of a neutral. For the Physicians Formula, they also make this in light, the light bronzer shade. I think I would be interested in trying that as a shade, but I mean, I just use a very light hand and make sure I blend and blend and blend and blend to make it work for my skin. So, hopefully this is helpful to somebody. As of right now, if we're counting every individual thing, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 bronzers total. But if you're only counting them as counting that as 1, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 bronzers. So a little bit too much for somebody like me because I don't, you know, especially on days when I ride the motorcycle, I don't wear bronzer. But I think if you are somebody that, you know, also uses them as eyeshadow, like for this one and this one, I use also those as eyeshadow, then you could easily get away with using these as multi-purpose products. And it also depends on whether or not you wear cool tone versus warm versus neutral undertone bronzers and what the undertone of your actual skin is. I am very green. I'm a very warm undertone. I'm very fair. If you have the Pure 4-in-1 Love Yourselfie foundation, I am LG2 in that one. Alright, so we are outside in shaded light. I wanted to show you this out here before I go in direct sunlight. I wanted to show you these as close as possible so you could see what they look like on my skin and, you know, outside lighting instead of synthetic lighting. Alright, now I'm going to take you to the end of the driveway. Alright, here I am in direct sunlight so you can see what these look like in direct light. LN2 is a little bit too pink on me, and LG2 is a perfect shade match. Also, the ABH foundation in shade 100N is also a very good shade match. It's a little bit dark. The Makeup Revolution Fast Base Foundation Stick in F1 is a little bit dark on me as well. So those just give you an idea of some of the foundations that I have that even the Wet n Wild, the Porcelain foundation, that one's 2 shades too dark for me. So it is what it is. I'm very, very fair, but I also pull very green or yellow depending on how I feel or how much pain I'm in. So a lot of these look rather red on my skin, but the skin on my face is also darker than my arm. So yeah, say nay to bad skincare and you won't have that problem. But I will do video outside. Hopefully this is helpful to somebody. You know, I'm gonna try and hit pan on a couple of these bronzers this year and we'll see what happens. I've never specifically tried to pan a product, but I think I'm gonna try and do that this year. I am Rebecca Overset. I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Have a fantastic day or night wherever you are, and I will see you then. Bye.